Hi all and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Chika. If you are a returning subscriber, lovely to see you. How are you doing? First of all, I have exhausted every emotion on the spectrum. My feelings are compounded by questions. For example, what I can't understand is why is your entry point into Black Lives Matter through the murder of a black man? It is just gross. To the companies that have commodified black bodies and profited from our creations, they should absolutely be held accountable. But all of the energy and the 280 characters that we are using to companies that don't care, please direct that energy to charities that are doing the work and the people on the ground who are doing the work. They need your support, they need your voice, they need your donations. There will be resources in the description bar. Some require money, others do not, and some may make some people feel uncomfortable, but that is where growth starts. This video was inspired by Bookish Babe. She shared 10 books to decolonize your mind, and I'll leave her video in the description bar. I would like to add 4 books to the list and also a magazine. The first book is Shame on Me by TECHY. I've misplaced the sleeve to this book, so I'll put an image of what the front cover looks like. Now, Tessa is a Guyanese-born Canadian writer, and she is a professor of creative writing at University of East Anglia, UK. She is a melting pot of inherited cultures and DNA, and from the top of my head she's English, Scottish, Amerindian, Chinese, Canadian, African, and ultimately those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. And in this book she puts herself underneath the microscope. She dismantles her own body and examines it piece by piece to build a distressing and brutal analysis of the race debate as it now stands. This intimate journey is beautifully written for a topic that is so complex. She's able to articulate herself in a majestic manner. While this is a personal story, Tessa powerfully explores history, identity, colour and desire. She holds up a mirror to the way culture reads bodies and asks why we persist in thinking in terms of race today when racism is killing us. The second book is Slay in Your Lane. Slay in Your Lane is one of the books which played the crucial role in creating the much needed space for a frank and honest conversation about race and inequalities in the UK. Slay in Your Lane puts black women, amazing black women, in the centre of the conversation. Through interviews you'll be able to peep into the complexities of being a black woman, the intangible feelings that we walk around with, and the magnificent lanes that the interviewed women have carved out for themselves and other women to come through. The inspiring stories are amplified by statistics and data to support the key arguments made. The third book is Dead Aid. Now, page by page, Dead Aid will dismantle the assumptions and arguments which have supported the single worst decision in world development politics, which is that aid is the optimum solution to solving Africa's problem of poverty. Now, I have selected this book because it colours in the invisible relationship between the West, as in the UK, and Africa through the limitations of aid. Putting us through a quick history of aid, Moyo covers the ways in which its intent and structures have been influenced by world events. To remedy this, Moyo presents a roadmap for Africa to wean itself off aid over a 5-year period, and also offers a menu of alternative financial instruments or development options. Now, Moyo is an economist, so of course this book is well researched and supported by stats. Undoubtedly, this book will help you understand the history of the West or the UK and its relationship with Africa, as well as developing your critical thinking. And the final book is Dark Days. This is a catalogue of 3 of James Baldwin's essays, and I will use the Penguin synopsis to describe the contents of this book. Drawing on James' own experiences of prejudice in an America violently divided by race, these essays, Dark Days, The Price of the Ticket, and The White Man's Guilt, blend the intensely personal with the political to imagine a better world. James Baldwin does not mince his words. The titles of these essays already speak volumes, and I can sincerely say when I read this book, I felt every single syllable. It is only £1, I think, is it £1 or it's under £5 on Amazon, and it's a great introduction to reading James Baldwin. The final item I would like to share is the National Geographic Race edition, which came out in April 2018. For the life of me, I don't know what I've done with my copy. There are online resources, the content is still on their website, so I'll link it down in the description bar. Now this edition examines how race defines us, separates us and unites us, and the introduction to the magazine, or to this issue, read, and give me a moment. For decades our coverage was racist. To rise above our past, we must acknowledge it. Let's just let that sink in. In summary, this issue addresses how the National Geographic presented race in a time where globalization wasn't as prevalent as it is today. And for some readers, National Geographic was their first look at the world, and they did little to push the reader's thought process beyond the stereotypes that are ingrained in white American culture. National Geographic essentially pulled out some of its archives and held the mirror up to itself. Now remember, this was April 2018, but they publicly came out and held itself accountable. Now I doubt you can find a hard copy, however, like I said, some of the content is still available online, and I'll link it in the description bar. And I just want to end by stating or quoting one of the lines in the issue that I thought was really powerful, and this is by Michelle Norris, and she writes, "It is hard for an individual or a country to evolve past discomfort if the source of anxiety is only discussed in hushed tones." I thought that was the perfect way to end this video. So I hope you find these resources useful. All of the books, everything will be linked in the description bar. And that's it from me. So peace and love in every language. Bye.